Angela, what's going on?
I have an 11-year-old daughter who is in competitive gymnastics. We spend a lot of time and money doing this, and my husband and I are not seeing, I guess, the level of effort we would like to see from her, and we're kind of just wondering how to go about approaching that with her, and if there is a time to say we're done, or if we need to let her make that choice.
You are the only parents in the United States of America having this problem right now. I just want you to feel isolated and alone in this. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow. Okay. So for a few minutes, can I make this all about me and walk you through my situation?
Absolutely.
I promise I'll come back to you. Okay?
Okay.
There is nothing more annoying than somebody being like, hey, will you help me with something? And they respond with, sure, let me tell you about my life. Okay. So I'm going to preface this with this. I am exhausted and annoyed by the quote-unquote passion conversation, right? Mm-hmm. I worked at universities for so long, and I would get these 18 and 19-year-olds that would say, I want to be a singer or a guitar player. I'm just so passionate about it. I want to be a doctor. I'm so passionate about the medical field. Here's the thing. You become passionate about what you love, and you love what you're good at, and you're good at what you practice. And unless you're an oddball like my wife, you practice what you were made to practice as a kid, right?
Okay.
You had to go through this because you learn how to practice and learn how to stick with something, right? So that's my overall disclaimer. And then I'm going to get personal. In 8th grade, I've been this big since I was like 7, okay? So in 8th grade, I was not a great football player, but I was pretty fast. And at the end of the year, I told my parents, hey, when we move up to high school, I went to a super 5A high school in Texas. I think my high school had 4,000 kids. It was a lot. It was a big place. And I told my parents I don't want to play. And my dad said, you have to play. You got to go one more year, and I want you to give it your best. And so I did. At the end of that year, I said, hey, I want to be done with this. This leveled up here in high school. It's a much more competitive. There's a bajillion kids out here, and I don't want to do it. And the next season, my mom said, you're going to do it. You're going to stick it out one more year. That next year, I began to grow into my body some. I found some significant success. I found some great coaches that poured into my life. I found some great teammates. And that started a love affair with the sport. I became a 2-year player on varsity, got some extraordinary experiences that I never would have had. More importantly, I learned how to be coachable. I learned how to not take things personally, but how to change my behaviors. I still exercise to this day using some of the techniques and practices that I learned back when I was in high school, right? So I am a product of parents who would not let me quit. Now, here's the other side. My wife was just a phenom at basketball. As a freshman, she was a stud. They were having conversations about playing on varsity. I mean, she was really good. And in her words, I had to get out of there. I had to quit. And I asked her recently, hey, did you ever wish your parents had made you stay? Like, because I'm a product if my parents wouldn't let me bail out. And she said it would have ended tragically for all of us if I'd stayed. I had to get out. And she ended up transitioning over to cross country where, again, she met a great team, great comrades. She learned how to work hard and all that stuff. So why do I say it like that? Here's the thing. For my parents, they weren't living through me. They saw that I was a better human when I had discipline, accountability, and extreme physical exertion, right? They saw that when I wasn't playing sports, when I wasn't running around, when I wasn't in a disciplined environment, I was an idiot. I was a bonehead. In fact, one time, my junior or senior year, my dad said, like, hey, let's talk about the times you've gotten in trouble the last few years. It's always in the summer, or it's always in that gap between football and track season, right? My little brother was allowed to quit football. It drove me crazy. I called my parents to lecture them, right? Well, then he went to college on a cello scholarship. Right? So it's not like he dropped out and just started playing video games. He transitioned to something else. But they saw in him, hey, their identity wasn't in being a varsity parent. It wasn't about them. It was about, hey, we know our kid well, and we think this is the right thing for them in this season. My son and I and my wife have had fights about violin. It's a big deal to me that my kids play an instrument. Music ed's a huge deal for me. And it got to where I thought I was going to come home and my wife was just going to be sitting on the front porch with a shovel and a cigarette, and my kid was going to have been buried out in the yard somewhere. And we had harder and harder and harder conversations. And so what we ultimately allowed is, you can't just quit on a random Tuesday. You committed to finishing this thing. We're going to have a recital, and we're going to put something on the calendar that you're going to prep for, and you're going to have to learn the consequences. If you don't want to practice, rock and roll. We're going to have a practice schedule. We're going to help you. But there will be people watching this recital. And if you choose to bomb it and tank it, you're going to do it in front of a crew. If you want to practice and get the support, I mean, we are all in, right? And so ultimately, my son practiced. We were there to support my wife. I say we, what an idiot husband. She did almost 95% of that. And she helped him across there, got him across the finish line, and then he's taking a semester off. No violin. My marriage is better. Their relationship is better, and we're just taking a break, okay? So why does this matter to you? We've got to find this balance. Well, hold on. So every parent I know is struggling with this. I played team sports as a kid, and most of us played team sports because our parents wanted us to, because it was a thing for them. And we want to have this want them to work hard, and we want them to learn these character things. And so the big question I want you to answer, number one, is, why do you want your kid to do gymnastics? Why is that important?
Honestly, gymnastics in itself is not important.
Okay.
I was very competitive. My husband was not. I gained a lot from the team aspect and the growing and the discipline and all of that. My husband is not competitive at all. And he's very laid back.
You said that with some disdain. Do you wish he was a little more competitive with life? Okay.
Sometimes.
All right.
Sometimes I do. But sometimes he wishes I was a little more chill, so I guess it evens out.
Okay.
But for me, she goes out there when she's at the practices, and she does work, and she gets proud of herself, and she says, I want more, Mom. And then she goes to a meet, and if she doesn't do well, it's like picking her up for 4 days after. But instead of like doing something about it, she just sits on the couch.
So have you all helped her draw the link between practice and hard work and success and competition?
We have tried.
Okay.
We've had these conversations. Unfortunately, she's one of these girls who everything comes very easily to.
There you go.
So she's like, well, if it doesn't just happen, then it's not supposed to happen. But we've had conversations about, do you want to continue? Do you want to stop? It's your call. And every time she's like, yeah, I think so. And then we get there and she falls down. And we say, well, now's a great opportunity to learn and to grow. And she's like, maybe tomorrow.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
Like, what do we do with this?
So when you presented this to me, you had an ROI investment in financially and an ROI investment in time.
Yes.
And I want you to take those off as anything to do with raising a young daughter. Okay? So take those things off the table. Cost doesn't matter. Time is unlimited, right? Which we both know neither of those things are. What would happen to the dynamic of your family if you took this summer off from gymnastics?
I think she would almost be lost when it comes to what do I do now, because it does take so much time. But I think eventually, after a while, it might become more relaxed because it's not the let's go, we've got to go, we've got to be here, you've got to be there. And
what gets her excited? What does she love?
She loves planning.
I have no idea where she gets that from, by the way. None at all. Right. I bet you've already have a spreadsheet on how this is going to pay for college, don't you? Okay, so she loves planning. What does that look like?
Yes. Well, she's mapping out her future and her plans, and she's setting up her goals and her stepping stones.
How old is she?
By this time, she's 11.
She's 11! She's 11! She should not be mapping out her life strategies.
I'm telling you, she's very, very, I want to go here and then here and then here and then here.
But you realize that she's using grown-up words, and none of that is real.
Yes.
None of it's real.
I understand.
And when her life is about fulfilling an ROI on time and money, that's how you have to formulate your existence when you're 11.
Yes.
Has she ever heard, and I'm making you feel guilty here, and I'm sorry, but not sorry, okay? Has she ever heard you guys say, hey, this takes a lot of time, or we're really busy, or this is really expensive. Are you sure you want to do this?
We don't typically talk about the financial aspect of it,
Okay.
but she is 11, and she does sometimes, they will hand her like a paper that says, we're going to order this Leo, and it costs this much, give this to mom and dad. And she does see that.
Okay.
She also does hear that because a lot of the other parents will talk, and then they talk, and
Sure.
they come out in the lobby, and then it's right there.
So here's what I would think is an easy solution here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying easy, not existential. It'll be hard. It'll be hard for you because you feel there's a part of you that's going to feel like if I don't keep my foot on the gas, my daughter's going to turn into my husband who I love, but come on, he's got to go jogging, right? And if he would just do this, I could see so much potential in him. And he may not say it. There's got to be a part of your husband that's like, dude, I just want a daughter who can chill and laugh and just come on, man. And suddenly your daughter, whether y'all want her to or not, is absorbing both messages. And she's becoming a proxy war for you two. And the battlefield is gymnastics, right? And I'm speaking way over dramatic here, okay? Your daughter knows that she loves you and knows that she wants you to go do these fun things. But here's the thing. I want you to come up with an alternative for her and see if you can talk her into it. Hey, what if this summer, we just took the summer off of gymnastics? You got to do a thing. Dream anything. What would it be? Girl Scout, I don't know what's cool, so I'm going to say things. You're going to be like, you're such an out-of-touch idiot, father. But I don't know if it's Girl Scouts. Hey, daughter, this summer, you are responsible for planning the weekly schedule when we're at home. I want to see a map of it. You're going to plan the chore list. You're going to plan the vacation we go on. We're going to use your planning skills, and you're going to get to have a dynamic. You're going to help with the family budget. You're going to help with these things. Or 2 summer camps you get. And if she comes back to you after a few days and says, I really, really want to do gymnastics, that's when you can have the hard conversation about it feels like you're opting out. And it feels like you don't want to do this. And we're getting to a point now where if you don't practice gymnastics, you can get hurt really bad. It's not like soccer, right? I mean, you're just running around the ball. You can fall. You can get hurt if you're not practicing hard, right? And when you're 12, that's when the people around you start growing into their bodies and they start getting good real fast, right? There's going to be an escalation here. And so let her feel the consequences of what you're telling us with your actions is that you're not really in. And that's super okay, and we love you. We want you to do something that brings you joy and happiness and peace, not feel like we just got to keep making you do this. And so let's take the summer off. Let's do this thing. Let's play soccer. You got to do a thing. You become the family planner for the summer. We're going to pay you $1 a week. You're the new family planner. You and your husband are going to have to figure out how to love each other again because suddenly you're not going to be driving all over the place. You're going to have money falling from the ceiling because you're not paying for all this stuff. But at the end of the day, I don't want you to feel like if you miss this one thing, it's over. It's out. It's done. Okay? I want you to look at 3 different people in my family only. 1, my parents knew I need this expression. I need this interaction. I need this accountability. I need this physical exertion because they knew me well. They let me drop something else. I got to drop baseball, but I had to keep doing this, and it ended up being the right thing. And with my brother, they knew he's gonna transition to music. This is just not his thing. He's coming home more defeated than he is coming home inspired. He doesn't watch football on the weekends. He's not checking the ESPN to see how the gymnasts are doing right. But man, he has a thing for music. And my brother's a prodigy. He practices his butt off, and he's still to this day one of the most talented musicians I know. And then my wife, who was a prodigy at basketball, and it just wasn't for her. And she went to her parents and said, I've got to be out. And they said, we support you, full on. And then she transitioned to cross country where she was pretty good. Wasn't the all-star, but she's pretty good. She enjoyed it, and she's a lifelong runner now. And so this idea that an 11-year-old is projecting the track of their life, whoa, man, slow everybody down. Let your 11-year-old be 11. Let her play and be silly and have outdoor adventures and go for lazy walks with dad and fun, routine-driven adventures with mom. And y'all figure these things out together. Challenge her with taking the summer off. Let her exhale. Because the worst thing a kid can do is feel like they are enduring something so that their parents will be okay. And this may mean you and your husband are going to have some hard conversations about what do we actually want for her? What does she need? What does she not need? And your husband may have to give some. She needs some more discipline. She's got to step up and learn that she can do hard things. And you guys are going to call it out when it happens. Hey, you're doing really hard things. You can do hard things. And you are going to have to slow down a little bit and know, you know what? If she decides, hey, gymnastics isn't for me, we've put a lot of money into this and we learned a lot and it was awesome. And now we're going to try new experiences. And we love our baby girl and she's going to be okay. And every parent out there, ask yourself this. Whose dream is this? Is this our dream or is it our kid's dream? And I can tell you all the way up until law school, I would talk to students who said, I'm only here because my dad says this is what I got to do. 26-year-olds who were burdened by their dad's dreams. Or I've met with med students, I'm only here because mom said I've got to be a doctor. A 25-year-old kid burdened with mom's, you will do this. The best thing you can do for your kids is to have an instrument in the room and some balls in the room and some support with the room. Let them know they are tethered in and they can try things. And when you see that spark come on, then you can lean on them. We are people who are accountable. We are people who show up for our teams. We are people who work real hard. And look at you. You can do hard things. Are you proud of yourself? Did you put out an effort on the track or on the pitch or on the football field that you're proud of? Then I'm proud of your effort, right? I'm proud of your effort. I'm proud that you overcame. I'm proud that you stuck it out. Now you're talking. Now we're going to create a generation of kids who know how to work hard, who know when to say, hey, this one's not for me, who knows how to receive coaching and push through hard things, but also does not get their self-esteem from achievement. And I know I'm talking about a delicate balance here. I know. But that's what we're aiming for. And we're going to get some messed wrong, some messed right. I'm gonna register for my kid for jiu-jitsu this summer. I'm trading him baseball in the spring for jiu-jitsu in the summer. He's not going to like it, but I want him to go through hard things. I want him to experience that struggle. And then at the end, I think he's going to overcome. I think he's going to begin to love it. But if he doesn't, I'm not going to get my identity through a 11 or 12-year-old jiu-jitsu kid. I'm going to get my identity being a dad who loves his son. All right. Thank you so much for your call, Angela. I love your heart, and you want to get it right. There's a lot to this. After you have this conversation with your daughter, after you say, hey, let's take the summer off. Let's do something else. You're going to be the house planner this summer. We're dedicating this summer to you. We're going to pay you for it. And we want you to join a summer camp or Girl Scouts, or we want you to work at the local church, whatever that is. Let me know how that conversation goes. I'd love to report back to our audience on this.